there, everybody. Welcome into this edition of ESPNFC's Extra Time. Craig Burley wasn't ready for it, but
no, I was waiting on your hey there, everybody.
Didn't I just do that?
Yeah, I know, but that's what I was waiting on. I was bracing myself.
Bracing yourself with anticipation?
No, it hurts my ears.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. Also with us, Aage Fjortoft and Craig Burley.
Jan,
yes.
On average, the last few years of your broadcasting career, how many games a year are you getting to?
Oh, it's a good question. I have no idea. Ask my wife.
Oh, she can't be happy with you.
She's very happy I'm away.
Well, yeah, that's a good answer.
First question, are Barcelona even favorites to win the Europa League? I highly doubt that, says the questioner. What do you think? Are they favorites? I'll give you a couple other options. Dortmund, Sevilla, West Ham, Atalanta, Napoli, RB Leipzig.
I think the answer at the moment is no. I think in previous times, if they surprisingly dropped in, they would have been, but no. But they are getting players back and players in, so that's definitely going to help. If anybody who saw the defeat to Real Madrid would have seen some hope for optimism. But there are still a lot of more than decent teams in the Europa League, so I would say no.
Next question comes from Craig's national team manager, who of course we know you spoke to quite a bit during your career whenever you were making a move and you needed permission. Gab, what are the odds that Joe Louis will open his massive checkbook wide open this summer so Conte can win some trophies with Spurs?
I don't think Joe Louis really matters here. What matters is what Daniel Levy's going to do with whatever money Joe Louis gives him. We touched upon this on the show. It's not like Conte knew what he was getting into at Spurs, and I think he's going to have, not least because Fabio Paratici, Spurs director of football, he's someone he's worked with before. So I think they're going to look obviously to strengthen, but I don't think they're going to spend very big money unless, of course, Harry Kane leaves for a serious fee and leaves a big empty salary slot behind. And I think that's actually going to be one of Conte's priorities in the coming days, as much as it is maybe to bring one or two players in during the window, is trying to figure out what does Harry Kane want to do? Does he still want to leave? Is he going to stay? If he stays, is he happy? I think he'll still bring in another striker, but the profile of the striker that they bring in, I think a lot of it will depend on what Conte and Paratici think what Harry Kane himself thinks he wants to do, whether those options to move in the summer are still there.
Let's turn our attention to the other side of North London, Arsenal. Do you guys think Arteta's hardline treatment of players like Ozil and Aubameyang could have a negative effect on future signings? Jan, you first.
No, I don't think so. I think that the new generation, they like a manager who is quite clear. He was in the expectations. It's not like Aubameyang is out of the team just because he couldn't hit the ball or hit the goal or anything. I think that if you build up a team like Arteta tries to do, success or no success, you have to have that discipline. And I think that young players and young prospects coming in, they see that that's what you need. And I think that Aubameyang, although I don't think there is a big problem for him at Arsenal, but still these young promising players, they will have a look at him and see, oh, you're a bit like 10 years too late into this game, my friend. So I like the style of Arteta.
You think it would be a turn-off for other players looking at Arsenal? I can't see why it would be.
No, because most players don't go into a new club with the mindset of being late for training or travelling abroad and not coming back in time and that sort of stuff. Most players go in with the mindset of, integrating, training well and playing well and making the team better. That's the mindset of a player. Whatever's happened in the past, I never looked at any manager and how he disciplined players, and that did not factor into a decision whether I went to the club or not, because then that's down to me.
Right.
If I break the rules, then I have to have the punishment that the manager decides. So no, it's not a factor.
Gab?
I think we also kind of need to make a distinction here between Ozil and Aubameyang, because in Alba's case, you're talking about a guy who broke team rules twice and very obviously, and is in the midst of an enormous 3-year contract that the club decided to give him, even though he was in his 30s. That's a pretty serious situation. In Ozil's case, you're dealing with somebody who, perhaps wasn't playing great, so he got dropped, and then the club had been desperately trying to offload him, but because he had enormous wages and wouldn't take a pay cut, ultimately, they suffered through that situation, and and he was sort of repeatedly left out of the squad by different managers. But I think, I'm not saying Ozil was harshly treated, but Alba's problems were of his own making. Ozil, it was a situation and a reminder that if a club no longer wants you, they can make life very difficult for you, even if you have a contract.
I think also, if I just can add there, Seb, it's also that sometimes we overdo how important the manager is for a player coming to a club. I mean, you will look at 3-4 years down the road, you'll sign a 5-year deal. I mean, if you're all depending what kind of manager there is, I mean, you could have a surprise coming up. Okay, say you go to Manchester City, Pep Guardiola is there because you go to him. But that can't be the only reason, because after 1 year, Pep Guardiola could say, I want to read a book in Central Park. I mean, so there is a lot of things that you have to put into that, not only the manager position.
Jan Aage, Fjortoft, breaking news here on Extra Time. Pep Guardiola to step away to read in Central Park.
No, that's previous.
Oh, okay. For the whole crew.
Elvis is dead.
Elvis is dead.
He moved
to
New York.
Right, in his like hiatus, right?
When he took a hiatus, and yeah.
But it's boys, that's his Ted Lasso when the striker says he can't play well because George Harrison is dead, and he said, yeah, but that's 20 years ago, yeah, but I realize now, so I'm a bit late to the party.
Yeah, definitely. I've been late to a few parties there in my day. For the whole crew, could you explain how Thomas Muller is effective, and have you played with players such as him before? I feel like we get questions about Muller a lot just because he doesn't have like a clear
Could you explain how Thomas
position.
Muller is effective?
Yeah, because he's different than most players, I feel like, right, Jan? Because he doesn't have a clear position, but he's always in the mix.
No, but I think that the reason we get a lot of questions about them, first of all, they got breaking all assist records. I mean, that could be explained through Bayern, playing with good strikers, Lewandowski. It's easier to have good assists when you have a good striker next to you. But I think that the thing with Thomas Muller, if you have a look at his stats, if you have a look at the trophies, if you have a look at how he plays football, he doesn't look a bit like a world football star. But still he is. And I mean, and if you see his record, it's unbelievable. And when you see him, you think he looks clumsy, but he's very efficient, unbelievable efficient out there. And there are Bayern manager who tried to get him out, like Niko Kovac did. He didn't succeed. Hansi Flick came in, gave him responsibility, and so has Nagelsmann, and so on. So a fantastic player and a Bayern symbol, so to say.
That's the first time I've ever known a question of Thomas Muller on my show.
Oh, really? I feel like we get those sometimes on Extra Time about him.
Oh, it must be when it's my days off.
Yeah, I know. Craig, your national team manager is trying to get in touch with you here because that's our next.
You can just ring me. Hit me up on Twitter.
What is the most difficult?
I'm on Instagram now, you know.
You are?
No, I'm not.
You are. Somebody followed me claiming to be you. Could you imagine somebody in such a dark place that they want to be Craig Burley on Instagram?
Yes.
It's
amazing. It's amazing.
Look at that.
But fake Insta, so I'm not on Instagram. If somebody follows you as me, I'm not.
It's a fake.
You're facts.
What is the most difficult playing skill to master that to a non-player looks like it should be easy?
Oh, good question.
What is the most difficult playing skill to master?
Can I throw something out there? Maybe Jan would be a good one here. Like heading, to me, there are guys who make heading look so easy, and between the jumping, the timing, the snap of the back, like all that stuff to me seems very, very difficult. And there are guys who make it look really easy. And Jan, in his day, was one of those guys, right?
Well, I was okay. I was not a great header. I was okay. But back to the question, I think that, and I will say that also as a old football player, sometimes like today or in some Champions League games, when in the last 10-15 minutes I have to be very close to what's happening on the pitch. I think that what people will underestimate is the lack of space you have out there, how quick it goes. When you watch it on TV, you see Toni Kroos always have good time on the ball. mind you, there is no time on the ball, but these players make it look easy. A non-football player can think that, it's just to stop the ball, see where to put the ball. You have no time. And Craig, I mean, it's getting less and less space out there. Nowadays it was a bit slower.
That was the point I was going to make. That if you, and I think for people who haven't played. No, I don't mean that. But it depends what level you play
right,
at.
haven't played at the top.
No. But if we're talking about a top level in each country or whatever, if you're watching it, as Jan said on TV, or you're in the main stand or wherever you are, high up, and you're looking down, and you say, there's the. Why isn't he passed over there? Why hasn't he passed there? Why has he not played it to the fullback and switched to play? Because you can see the big picture. But if somebody's ever got the chance to go down and stand by, say, a technical area or an old dugout or whatever it is, and you actually look on the field when the play's going on and you go, where the hell? There's no space out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a completely different picture when you're down there than it is when you're watching on TV. And it just moves so much faster. And the players are so much bigger as well. And more physical. They don't look that big on TV sometimes. Right. When you go down there and you're stood next to players, they're a lot bigger, faster, stronger and quicker than you would imagine.
Yeah,
apart from in our day.
Yeah, I just as a what's the word you use? Punter? Yeah.
As a punter.
Yeah.
That's not a bad word.
No, it's not?
No.
Yeah. But I was calling myself that. Yeah, it's like, I remember the first time I did sideline reporting of a game being blown away by like the speed of it and just how quickly decisions had to be made by players.
Yeah, it's a different game down at eye level.
All right, final question here. Actually, I got a couple questions. What do you think of your Wikipedia pages? Does any of you hire writers to curate the content there, except Gab, who appears to work on his page? Gab, do you want to answer to these allegations? Are you actively rewriting your Wikipedia page?
I haven't looked at my own Wikipedia page in a couple years, so I can tell you some information on there. When I last looked was incorrect. No, there's kind people out there who write it for you. There's devoted people. I'm always amazed, Wikipedia, how, moments after games end, there's somebody on there updating the goals totals. And not just Cristiano Ronaldo's goals totals, but like random footballers. It is amazing. And all these people are unpaid. Wikipedia is some sort of marvel of humanity as far as I'm concerned.
Talking about random footballers, I have to say that I am very disappointed in Wikipedia, and I've told my son to sort that out because I'm a goal getter and I know exactly how many goals I scored in my career. I scored 308 goals in 614 games, and Wikipedia, they only have my league goals. I don't like that because people Google me. So I will talk to them. I have asked my son to sort that out, so he has to find a solution.
Does your son work for Wikipedia? Why is he going to sort it out?
Everybody works for Wikipedia.
What's your son?
Yeah, whatever. Do something.
Wait, your son edits Wikipedia pages?
Now, who else?
You could see Jan struggling with technology, just calling his son, right? I think.
Yeah, can't anybody go in Wikipedia? Can anybody do it?
Yes, anybody. That's the whole point.
You could do it yourself.
My son.
I've got a better option.
Yeah,
that's too embarrassing.
Yeah, I've got a better option. I've got the man just for you. The man for you to help you with your Wikipedia page is Stevie Nicol.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Then I will lose goals.
Wiki's always wrong.
Is it? Yeah. Should we test that?
No, because it's wrong.
Craig William Burley, born on 24 September.
Yeah, but that's easy.
Okay.
Come on, let's go.
Is a Scottish former professional footballer and sports television pundit and co-commentator for ESPN. It does not.
People go on Wikipedia.
Does not.
It is wrong a lot of times, I must admit.
But goals are so important. I agree with Gab. It's unbelievable. You can sit on a football game and you can see any game, and the Wikipedia will be updated. So why can't they update my page? I'm sad. I'm sad.
Stevie's on it.
Yeah, Stevie's on it. We will we'll put this clip on the internet, and I'm sure, Jan, that the internet will take care of you.
And he's going to do it tonight. On his phone.
One last question for you from our cameraman, Craig. What are your thoughts on the Major League Soccer Super Draft?
Well, this is interesting. Well, this is interesting, Jan, because our cameraman, it was not ours, the company's, we don't...
You don't.
We don't own
You
him.
don't pay
Well,
him.
we're trying. We were in a chat earlier, and he said, I'm a bit disappointed my question never got in about the Super Draft. And I went, Super Draft? That's a lager. That's what I normally order at the bar. Get me a pint of Super Draft.
It's a key player acquisition mechanism within Major League Soccer.
Yes, which is quite interesting because he did tell me for his team, this Super Draft has garnished quite a few bits and pieces.
Oh, okay.
Now, he didn't say bits and pieces of what, but it was bits and pieces. Because the last time I heard from these Super Drafts, there's not a lot going around.
No,
It's
yeah. It used to be a much bigger part.
But a
of
Super Draft, you know, for me, you've said to me going out.
Yeah.
What about the Super Draft?
It's a
I
draft,
said, okay, I'll have a
but,
cold one.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it was a big day in our life in the family when my son was drafted by Seattle. Fantastic day. So don't underestimate that, Craig.
Wow.
Is that on
Big
his
day for our family.
All right, is that on his Wikipedia?
I will put it in for him.
Why didn't he sign with the Sounders, Jan?
Because he wasn't good enough the weeks he was there, I guess. Football is brutal.
There you go. I didn't know Jan's son was drafted by the Sounders. You learn something new every day here.
You're the MLS expert on this show. You don't know
Wow,
that?
expert in anything is really far too kind.
You're the MLS guy. You and Hercules Gomez.
I'm just a guy,
And
man.
I'm doing your job for you. I'm
There you
telling
go. Well, you can help tomorrow with Football
I'm
Americas.
off tomorrow.
Every time we do the show, you're off. That's strange how that works out. All right, that's it for this edition of ESPN FC's Extra Time. Thanks to Jan and Gab. Thanks to you as well, Craig. And a reminder, you can catch us daily on ESPN+.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.